Today, President Trump has just made a stunning announcement on Truth Social, calling for the reopening and expansion of Alcatraz. Yes, that infamous island prison in San Francisco Bay. And if that wasn't enough, we're also looking at a heartbreaking case out of California, the killing of 15-year-old David Gutierrez, and how his family is pushing for legal reforms. Joining me to break this all down is Mike Mibach. Mike, good to have you on.
Hey Claudine, thanks for having me. Yeah, it's been quite a news day. Let's start with Alcatraz. Trump's post says he's directing the Bureau of Prisons, the DOJ, FBI, and Homeland Security to reopen and substantially enlarge and rebuild Alcatraz. He says it'll hold America's most violent offenders and serve as a symbol of law and order. Alcatraz, as you know, shut down back in 1963 due to high operating costs and crumbling infrastructure. Since the 70s, it's been run by the National Park Service and has been a major tourist site.
Right? And now, all of a sudden, we're talking about reopening it as a functioning prison. Mike, what's been the reaction so far?
Well, Governor Newsom's office didn't waste any time. They put out a statement saying, quote, "Looks like it's distraction day again in Washington, D.C. So, pretty skeptical. Also, no concrete details yet from the Bureau of Prisons on how they'd even make this happen. And don't forget, the island has a notorious past, including an infamous prison break that's still surrounded by conspiracy theories."
Absolutely. And while all that's happening on the national level, here in California, we've got a local tragedy that's sparking a lot of debate. David Gutierrez, just 15 years old, was fatally stabbed on Santana Row on Valentine's Day. 4 of the 5 suspects are minors. And because of Proposition 57 passed in 2016, only a judge can decide if juveniles should be tried as adults.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. David's family led a march calling on lawmakers to change the law. They say the current system puts communities at risk and doesn't deliver justice. What's especially striking is how David's friends, his peers, were out there marching too. That really sends a message that young people themselves are demanding change.
A really powerful moment. And meanwhile, we also saw a 16-year-old suspect already released from custody, which has only fueled the family's frustration. Mike, stepping back, what does all this tell us about how the country is handling crime and justice right now?
It's a clear sign that the country is divided on how to balance justice, rehabilitation, and public safety. On one hand, you have Trump pushing to go tough on crime with something like Alcatraz. On the other, you have families like the Gutierrezes calling for legal reforms because they feel the system's too lenient. It's a moment of reckoning, no doubt.
Well said, Mike. We'll be watching both these stories closely. That's it for today's episode of the Daily Pulse. Thanks for joining me, Mike.